Doing a little lifestyle shoot here at the house. Unmedicated. Why?
Labor took just under 12 hours.
Didn't make me feel stupid or dumb.
For the world, like I didn't know I had that kind of strength.
Welcome back to Ja&JoJo. Before we start the video, I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching these videos, and thank you to those of you who are subscribed. It looks like a good amount of you guys watch the videos, but we definitely need help with subscribers, so it would mean a lot to us if you click that subscribe button so we can help grow this channel. But thank you to all of you who have been watching these videos consistently every single week. Well, a couple of days ago, my mom and my grandmother flew in from Anchorage, Alaska to meet Cruz for the first time. And I think it's the most amazing thing that Cruz not only gets to meet his grandma, but also his great-grandma as well. And here's some clips of them holding him for the first time.
¡Qué hermoso! ¡Qué hermoso! Hi, Blue. Hola, Blue. Hola, mi amor. Yo te he esperado con muchas ansias. Te he estado esperando desde el momento que tus papás me dijeron que estaban embarazados. Siéntate. Eres mi bendición, eres la bendición de la familia, mi rey. Mi Crucito hermoso. Mi chiquito lindo.
¿Quién es esta? Dice.
Me estás escuchando, ¿no?
Pero no importa, así te he venido a ver. ¿Sí? Sí. Qué popolito. Eres igualito tu papá, tú. Igualito. ¿Y ella quién es? Dice. ¿Ella quién es?
So now we've got Ziamata, who was our photographer for the maternity shoot that we did a few videos back. She also did our engagement pictures and our wedding pictures. So she's been with us since day one. And we're kind of just doing a little lifestyle shoot here at the house with Cruz being here. So pictures of him being a newborn with us. And then we're going to have my mom and my grandma hop into the pictures as well. We are in our bedroom.
It is 9:05.
we're not in our bed. We're sitting on the floor at the foot of our bed near our dresser because our child has fallen asleep on our bed, and we don't want to start World War III by waking him up because he does not like to be woken up. So we're gonna, if you see us move around from time to time, it's because we're laying on these things. And they're not all that comfortable. We just wanted to go over just kind of our whole story, like getting pregnant, the decisions we made, you know, during Joanna's pregnancy, just like our experiences with all of it, and then just kind of different things that, you know, different takeaways that we had, different things that we did, or things that we learned from other people, that could help, you know, a couple who's right now in the middle of their pregnancy, or they're trying to get pregnant, or, you know, they're far along in their pregnancy with their first time child. So hopefully some of that stuff helps you out. So when did we find out that you were pregnant?
June 4th, right? Yeah, because our anniversary was on a Wednesday. We found out on a Friday. So we found out 2 days after our third wedding anniversary.
So that experience was it was like really cool, you know?
Like, I had never taken a pregnancy test before, so I wasn't...
Me neither.
We took a few because, like, one time I don't think I got enough pee on it. And then I think another time, what was it? Maybe we didn't time it or something. Anyways, we took a few in order to get an accurate
Result,
yes.
So our baby's due date was February 9th, but that is not when he was born. He was actually born on February 15th, so he was born 6 days after his due date. And that whole week, that process was just like, I mean, it was nuts because, you know, we knew that at any single moment, Joanna was going to go into labor and we were going to go to the hospital and meet, you know, our son. But the whole waiting process was, I don't know, it's kind of just like you're on pins and needles the entire time.
Because you get super uncomfortable.
Of course.
And then I was dilated a decent amount, like earlier on, I should say, not early on. So then my midwife was thinking that he'd come sooner than he actually did. And it was definitely a waiting game.
It was a waiting game. So for you, obviously you were uncomfortable waiting. And for me, I'm just like, I constantly felt like I heard her calling my name. Like she would be in the bathroom here in our room, and I would be in the office, like working or something. And I would think I would hear, like, I thought I heard her go, John or babe. And I'd like stop whatever I was doing and run to the bathroom. What's up? What's going on? She'd be like on her phone on the toilet.
I was like, I said nothing.
I didn't say anything. On Valentine's Day, that's when the action started happening.
And it was my first day of maternity leave and
my last day of work.
Andre's last day of work. And like on Monday, on Valentine's Day, it was a normal day. Like he wasn't really moving a ton. I was not having contractions, minus like a couple. And my mom and my niece came over. We went to the park, and I don't remember what else I did. But it was just funny thinking back, because in no way did I think, based on how that day went, that like in the evening, well, in the later night, I'd be going into labor. We ended up going to Whole Foods. That's when it all began.
Yeah, we went to Whole Foods, grabbed some stuff. We were walking back to the car, and Joanna just like, oh. And I was like, what's wrong? She's like, I think these are the ones. I think these are the real contractions. I was like, how do you know? She's like, I just like, a woman just knows, you know? She's like, I just know.
But I didn't think that I would just know as a first-time mom. But they were just like, I had been having like, you know, the pre-labor contractions and obviously Braxton Hicks before that for a while. But these were like so intense. And turns out, yeah, labor had started walking out of Whole Foods around 7-ish.
7 p.m.
on Valentine's night. Which was also funny because neither of us wanted a Valentine's baby.
Yeah, and we didn't get one.
We didn't get one.
No. So we got home after we picked up the food, and I mean, probably not even 40 minutes later, we were out the door on our way to the hospital. And if you haven't seen the last video, I'm going to link it in the description below so you can actually see the whole entire process of what it was like when we found out that it was time to go to the hospital, going to the hospital, being there, all of that. In my personal opinion, it is my favorite video that we've created. Obviously, I am, what's the word?
Biased?
Biased. Because it's our YouTube channel and our son, but it's my favorite one that I've made. So 40 minutes later, we were out the door on the way to the hospital, and Joanna's water broke in our garage as we were trying to get in the car.
And I had like a bite of dinner. Like, I knew that nausea was like a part of labor maybe, but it was like horrible nausea. And the contractions, like, it's very unpleasant. Any woman who has given birth knows. And so like the two mixed with that, and I was just trying to breathe through them and like sitting on the toilet and then sitting on the birthing ball and like trying to be comfortable. And then I'm like, okay, let's shower, because I'd really like to go to the hospital, like clean. And so we both like showered, and then I ended up calling my midwife, which you would see in the previous video, when we were using the contraction app to time. And so that was the crazy part, is like I went from having nothing, like no contractions, to the real full-on, I'm in so much pain, like we need to time these, and they were so close together, like from the get-go. And it's funny because we had talked about it in like the weeks leading up, and I'm like, I think we'll have time, like we won't be scrambling to go to the hospital or anything. And sure enough, John's like speeding to the freaking hospital that's like 16 minutes away, and I was like nervous to even get in the car because for some reason I thought like the baby was gonna pop out.
I booked it, boy.
And
I booked it.
We passed a cop. They didn't pull us over, thank God, because that would have just taken more time.
By the way, our nursing staff, our entire staff there at the hospital at St. Vincent's here in Portland, was an absolute godsend. They were just like the most caring, nice, professional people we could have ever asked for. So I was just like super thankful and grateful that we had them there for the entire process, and they never made like me as the dad like asking these questions that probably everyone in the room, including my wife, knew the answers to except for me. Like, they didn't make me feel stupid or dumb for asking those questions, right? Because it was all new to me. So I just really appreciated them. How long did labor take?
Labor took just under 12 hours, and I pushed for 2 hours and 4 minutes.
What was that pain like? Well, you did it.
Which pain?
Okay, so she did it unmedicated. You said that there was two different types of pains. You had your contraction pain, and then you had your pushing pain.
Yeah, so the pushing pain, honestly, neither are pleasant. Both take you to the ends of yourself. Like, I didn't know I had it in me to complete bringing our son to the world. Like, I didn't know I had that kind of strength. And it's a huge mental strength also. But the contractions, for me, hurt worse. They are so intense, and they're happening like a minute apart. And so, like, you try to like sleep. You're not really sleeping. You're just like resting in between. And then another one starts again. And I had really prepped myself as far as how to get through each one. Breathing, like you have to stay above them. Like, what I had learned is like riding the waves. And Ja&Jay said he was an incredible, extraordinary support. Like, I could not have done it without you, and you know that. But like being so present, because I'd be like, babe, another one's coming, and he'd hold my hand, and he could tell by my breath, because it's like you reach a climax of it and then you come back down, right? So maybe like halfway through each one. And so he could tell by my breathing when I was at like the hardest part of each contraction. And so he'd say like, you're almost done, you're almost done. I had a birth plan that I had done up, and especially because I was at the hospital and doing unmedicated, I thought like, I'm really gonna have to like advocate for myself. And Ja&Jay knew that he might have to do the same thing for us, and totally like a miracle thing that I didn't even have to pull it out of our bag. It stayed in there. I labored in a dark room the whole time. It was peaceful. We had a playlist on with worship music and other just like songs and calming songs that mean something to us.
Yeah.
Pushing pain is like, the only way I know how to describe it is like you have like a bag of rocks that you have to poop out. Like, I don't know how else to explain it in a more delicate way. And when you're pushing, it's like, you know, you're getting towards the end, like, you know, and
So you can see like the finish line when you're pushing.
and contractions, you know, some people labor a lot longer than 12 hours. Ja&Jay said he heard like sounds come out of me that like he had never heard before, because you are like pushing with every ounce of your being. So you're just like yelling and grunting and roaring and whatever.
I mean, you tap into a part of yourself that you've never tapped
truly
into
do.
before.
Yeah.
And the noises and the sounds that I heard her make were like, I mean, the only other way, I can't explain it other than just like tribal. Just like ready for war, like intense. But I was so incredibly proud of you. I was in awe. Like, if you're the guy in this situation, for me at least, you become so in awe of your girlfriend, wife, significant other, whoever that person is to you. I mean, just for me, I became so in awe of Joanna and just like her strength and what she was able to do and how she was able to do it. It was absolutely hands down the most amazing thing I had ever witnessed was the birth of our son. So here's a question for you. Unmedicated. Why?
I just, from like the beginning of getting pregnant, my best friend Alicia had done it, and I was like amazed by that. And as a first time mom, you know, a lot of people ask like what your plan is, and some people I would tell, but obviously I was also going in with an open mind because you are a first time mom and I don't know what the pain is like and all of that. But I also knew I wanted to at least try and like put in the effort and prepare mentally for it for months, which I did. So I guess I just really desired to like us as a woman are created to bring children into this world, right? And so in my mind, I'm just like, I want to fully experience, like if he's healthy, if I'm healthy, if all is going fine, and I don't need interventions, I want to fully experience what it is like what we are created to do. I want to fully experience it, and I'm so like beyond all the pain and beyond it all, like I do it all over again, because it's so, I don't know, it's like the most rewarding thing I've ever done is like not only carrying him for 9 months, but then like going through all the pain to bring him earthside. It was just like...
Were you scared?
Oh, totally. I was scared, and you know, I didn't go in like some people do, and that's fine that they do, like saying like, I want an epidural right away, you know. And they asked the hospital right when we got there, and well, even the midwife asked on the phone, like, what's your birth plan? And I said, I want unmedicated, because from what I've researched and the classes I took is like, once you start with an intervention, a lot follow that. So it's like, I didn't want that kind of experience, and if at all possible, I didn't want to be like, not lucid, or what's that word for that? Like, I wanted to be fully coherent, like when he's put on my chest after he comes, and oh my gosh, yeah. But it is just like, I have no words for like the experience it was like the hardest thing I've ever done, and I'll ever do. But just like the sweetest, most beautiful experience that, you know, caused the most pain. But I'm like, our bodies were created for this, so why not try for, if we were created for this, and I can do it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And just because like Joanna did it unmedicated, like that's like not us saying like everyone should do it unmedicated. You know,
Right,
the best birthing plan for you is the one that you choose.
Yeah.
Right. So.
And what's healthiest for you and your baby.
Absolutely. Because you didn't see the actual birthing process. They asked you if you wanted a mirror.
Yeah, I did not want a mirror to see, but also it was like I had my eyes closed also, and it's just like, maybe this is TMI, but it's like I could feel his head, and our son has my head, and he's 90th percentile for head, which I think is freaking hilarious. But I could feel his head, like it felt like for so long, and I'm just like pushing, because you're pushing head first, and then so it's like once you get the head and the shoulders out, everything slides out. But it's just like his head was just like sitting there for so long. I told my midwife and John and Dre, I was like, I don't want to know my progress. Like, I did not want to know how much further I had to go. Just let me know when it's almost done, And I could tell by like their remarks and John and Dre getting excited that he was coming. But
totally. Like, I was standing at like basically where like Joanna's knees were at, so I could communicate with her and I could hold her hand through all the through like the pushing and the contractions and stuff. But at the same time, I could look over and see what was happening on the other end, and it didn't bother me. But for some guys, it does. Like, I don't know. I've heard that for some guys, it's just like they can't unsee it anymore. So,
but I would say, unless you're super uncomfortable about it, like it's an opportunity to freaking see your child be born.
It is.
I mean, come on.
I mean, I encourage you to do it. Like, I encourage you to, anyways, regardless, choose what you want to choose. I chose to like watch my child be born, but it was the craziest thing because I was looking and I could see his like black hair. Like, my son was born with tons of hair.
Daddy's hair.
And be born, so I would see his head like crowning, right? I would see his black hair, and like I could just tell, like, just like, babe, you're almost done. You are almost done, right? You were almost there. And this was right here was hands down one of the most amazing moments that I shared with my wife. This right here. I'm watching my son's head trying to come out, right? My wife is in so much pain. She is shrieking, she is screaming, she is grunting, everything, right? At one point, he's about to be born.
Like within minutes. Yeah.
And she just pushes so incredibly hard and she's in so much pain, you can tell. And I look over at her and I mean, the look of just like absolute pain and almost like horror was just like over my wife's face. Like, just,
well, I was exhausted.
Just like pain that I've never seen in anyone's eyes before. And she looked at me and she's like, babe, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can do this. I said, babe, you are almost there. You are almost there. You've come this far. You know exactly why you wanted to do this. You're almost there. Now just push. And she pushed. And I wasn't looking. I wasn't looking at this exact moment. I was just like focusing on Joanna. And all of a sudden I hear...
But you said, look at me, right? Didn't you?
That's right. Yeah. I said, look at me, look at me. And then I said all that stuff. And I said, now just push. And all of a sudden she just pushes. She screams. It was like out of a movie. And I hear one of the doctors there say, head, head, head. And I look over and all of a sudden the doctor pulls him out and then just automatically lays him on top of Joanna's chest. And Joanna just starts crying and I'm just like... I'm like in awe of what just took place, right? And then all of a sudden I look down at my son, this little boy who I've been wondering for over 9 months what he would look like, how he would sound, what his hair color would be. Would he have my nose? Would he have Joanna's nose? Like, all these different things that ran through my mind for every single day for over 9 months, I finally got to experience. And it was so overwhelming, and I just cried. I just cried looking at him. I couldn't help but just cry. It was joy that...
Joy and, like, gratefulness.
It was joy and just gratefulness and just, like, the most amazing thing in the world. And just, like, look, God is real. It's just, like, plain and simple to me.
Like, giving life, yeah. That's like, what, it's still, like...
I believe that faith and science can coexist. And that's a conversation for a different story. But I can't believe anything other than the fact that my son is just a miracle. Because I just, like, watched all these amazing, crazy things happen. And then finally I saw him get put on my wife's chest. And It's just an amazing love that I just can't even...
I think it's pretty mind-blowing, like, seeing life.
I can't even put into words.
Like, our son, but life itself being born. And he's 3 weeks. The day this is posted, Tuesday, he's 3 weeks old. And it feels like we've had him a long time, but it's also been like the sweetest, hardest, most fulfilling 3 weeks of my life for sure. But it's just mind-blowing that like you get pregnant, and then in all of those months and all the body changes that we as women go through, and the weight gain and all the doctor's appointments and everything, and he just comes out like with 5 fingers or 10 fingers and 10 toes and hair and our, Ja&J's features mostly. He looks like his pictures are identical to Ja&J's baby pictures, which is the most precious thing. But it just blows my mind that like in all those months a baby is formed perfectly and wholly, and
yeah,
now he's ours.
Now he's ours. Okay, so last thing is this. What are some tips, some things that we experienced through these last 9 months that we can share with whoever's watching this video who was in that position? Couple, pregnant, trying to get pregnant, about to go into labor with their first child.
Enjoy every moment, first of all. There's so much, just like I was saying, change to your body and days that you feel like crap and everything, but it's like, it is such a gift that a lot of women don't get to do, to carry your child into this world. So I think your positivity and your self-talk has to be reframed almost on a daily basis, because it's not easy being pregnant, and it's not easy seeing your body change and grow and enlarge. Your body knows, like, to trust my body, to trust that it knows what it needs and why it needs it in order to bring Cruz into this world. I think having a lot of communication with your husband or spouse about like what you need really set us up. And Ja&J watched the birth course with me, which I'm so thankful he was willing to do, because I think it really set us up. So he kind of knew what it would be like, but also like our communication was completely clear on just what kind of support I would need, and he was the exact support I needed. Communication and just preparing, like whether you want to give birth unmedicated or with interventions, whatever, like mentally just prepare your mind for that. And I had like affirmation cards I used. I prayed a lot. I envisioned, even though I didn't know what it would look like, I envisioned the room. I envisioned things happening and things going well. I read positive birth stories. I stayed active, and I think that's a huge, like literally we walked 4 miles on Sunday, the February 13th. So I think that has helped me not only postpartum, but just staying healthy, because you staying healthy not only helps you and mentally helps you, but also it helps the baby. That's what comes to mind right off the bat, but I don't know.
I would say for the guy, like the biggest thing that I can tell you is just be alert. Just be alert and be aware, man. Like honestly, if right now you're thinking to yourself, how hard is it gonna be? Or like, I have so many nieces and nephews, like I'm prepared. You're not.
You're not the same.
You're not. I have many nieces and nephews. We have many nieces and nephews. And no amount of time with them can prepare you for the birth of your own child. But what I mean by being alert and being aware is like, be alert to your lady, be alert to your woman. Like, obviously she's going through a lot of changes, and brother, I'm telling you, those emotions are going to be sky high through the roof. So you've got to be...
Well, which point are you talking about?
All 9 months. Now, I'm sure for some people it's different than others. For Joanna, it wasn't really that bad, right? It wasn't that bad at all. But obviously, she had moments where her emotions were high. But at the same time, she's carrying a child inside of her. It's growing, and she's like, all these little insecurities can pop up, and they can just start to fester, and all of a sudden that one insecurity becomes many insecurities. What if my body doesn't look the way it used to look? What if I can't drop this weight? What if something happens to my child during my pregnancy, during my labor? What if something happens to me? Is my husband still gonna find me attractive after this? Like, all these different things.
That was a big one, yeah.
All these different things start popping up in your woman's head, and you just need to be alert. You need to be aware of them, and you need to kill those evil thoughts before they start getting bigger. You need to shower your person with truth and with love and with reassurance constantly.
That's genuine.
That's genuine, of course. That's genuine. That's real. That's truthful. Also, if your partner wants to take a birthing course, I highly recommend doing it. I've heard that some guys just don't really want to take it.
Just the wife will take it.
And you know what? I'll be honest with you. It's not the most fascinating or exhilarating thing ever. It's quite boring. But I'm very thankful that I took it, because there was a lot of terminology that I learned that I was able to apply at the hospital. Well, not necessarily apply, but I was able to hear the nurses and the doctors say this, and I'd understand what they were saying, or I understood the next part of what was about to happen. So I think that was super helpful for me as well. So yeah, alert, aware to your woman's needs, and then just like being a helper, just like be there, just be present. That's probably the biggest thing: alert, aware, and present.
Good, Nick.
Those three things right there, I think are really going to help you as a man, and really help the person you're with, who you guys are about to bring in, the most amazing miracle. One last thing that I want to say before we wrap up this video is that I'm sure some people who are watching this video, I think he's waking up.
He's starting to wake up.
No, he's good. He's sleeping.
No, it's about time for him to wake up.
I'm sure some people who are watching this video have been trying to get pregnant for a while, or have had issues getting pregnant. I just want to encourage you that your time is coming. And this might sound weird, but the goal in all of this isn't birth. The goal is parenthood. And you will know your child when you see your child. And that doesn't mean that it's going to be in a hospital. It might be it might be halfway around the world in Kenya. You know what I mean? But you will know your child when you see your child. So if that's you, then I would say your time is coming. But potentially shift your focus from birth to parenthood, because birthing is just a process that takes you to the actual goal, which is becoming a mommy or a daddy. So I don't know if that sounds weird, but I hope that encourages someone who's having issues with conceiving, that your time is coming, and when it comes, you will know, this is my child. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I know we've been kind of off with when we've been posting the last couple of videos.
We'll get back on track.
Yeah,
having a newborn is no joke. Finding the time. I mean, getting out of the house is a struggle in itself.
Oh my gosh, we used to be able to get out of the house in 2 seconds. Now it takes us like 2.5 hours to get out of the house to do anything, because my son likes to wake up. He likes to pee on himself and on our bed. We have to change him. He likes to feed. He likes to pee on himself again, change him again, continue to feed, and then finally, when we get to the door, he might fall asleep. So it's a whole process, but yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you like this video, please give it a like, subscribe, leave a comment, and we'll catch you on the next one. Just remember to live a life that you love. See ya.